Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Gringo Show. Yeah, thanks for joining us. This is the penultimate edition of season 2. We're nearing the finish line, and you know I try hard to make this show more about than politics, like about culture, food, and fashion or other things. And I don't want to take sides and be pro or against any particular politician, but AMLO just keeps on doing so many ridiculous things. It's really hard not to, especially in a comedy show. The funny material just keeps on coming and coming. And trust me, he's not the first one. The US had George W. Bush, and then we had Trump. Like when he stared directly at the sun during an eclipse. Or when he told a group of Boy Scouts about rich people having sex in boats. Or when he announced that if you inject people with disinfectants, you can cure COVID. And it's exactly the same with AMLO. You can't help yourself. And I'm going to just give you a clear example. Just this week, he was promoting transit to the new Santa Lucia airport that will open in March. He did a press conference on a train that goes to the airport, except there were a number of problems with that. Number one, he wasn't on a real train, just a prototype. And the second, there is no train to the airport. So I understand if he has a difference of opinion on policy issues, but fooling us to believe something that doesn't exist? And Trump did exactly the same thing. Now, AMLO touted on this fake voyage that he would take around 40 minutes to get to the new airport, except that experts predict it will take up to 2 hours in rush hour traffic, and an Uber can cost upwards of 1,000 pesos to get there. Then last week, AMLO marked the halfway point of his term in office with a celebration in the Zócalo, which the media has called AMLO Fest. The event was attended by a reported 250,000 people. So whatever he's doing as president, I guess, is working because he maintains a high approval rating, even though upwards to 500,000 people died of COVID on his watch. And he can attract large crowds at his rallies. Or are those crowds real? Some media outlets reported that people were driven to the event in free buses, given free t-shirts, hats, and a lunch of a torta and a boing. I mean, I totally get on a bus and spend a day cheering for my president for a boing, especially if it's from Guayaba. 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 Some said thank you. Some said they were coerced by their local government officials to attend with fears that they would face reprimation if they didn't show up. Others were brought by their labor union. So we don't really know how many people were there because they wanted to support AMLO. But this tactic isn't new. This was used by the PRI during its time in power, called acarreados. And it seems really effective. Like maybe on my next birthday party, I'm going to make free t-shirts, free hats. I'm going to get my friends to go in buses. I mean, a packed house will mean that people will think I'm so popular and want to go to more of my parties. Yay. In other news, the Mexico City government this week announced it would extend the city's alcohol checkpoints, or called alcoholimetros, from 8 currently in operation to between 24 to 30 in December and January. So if you think your job sucks, just imagine being the person having to have thousands of people breathe on them during a COVID epidemic. Yeah, exactly. Also, as the government is trying to push through an energy reform which would bring the nation's energy production back to more government control, the government announced this week that it was given $3.5 billion as a bailout to the government-owned Pemex to shore up its finances, as it has incurred massive debt due to large payouts to its executives, mismanagement, corruption, and inefficiency. Think about it, $3.5 billion. I think that can be used up to buy the entire population of Mexico 26 sopes, or huaraches, or pambazos, or even michotes. Let me think, $3.5 billion? I don't know. Maybe we can build a new airport in Texcoco. But in news that doesn't involve AMLO, in sports news, the final of the first leg of the Liga MX is set, as the Atlas of Guadalajara will be challenging the guys with awesome shoes, otherwise known as León, for this season's championship. Do you think they have good cleats? Probably. Atlas hasn't won a title in 70 years. Chabelo was like 30 years old when he last saw the team win. And it's sad because Atlas has been the second team in Mexico's second city, and I've watched their rivals Chivas win 12 championships during that time. So I'm wishing great luck to Atlas to win this leg of the Liga MX Championship. And in our segment, Mexico, Mexico, a very crafty and risk-acceptant resident of Ciudad Neza, a suburb of Mexico City, wanted to create a party space in front of his home and came up with this. Yes, that's right. You're looking at a salón de fiestas on top of a utility pole. I'm just wondering, at the party, people kept on shocking each other, be like, zoom, I don't know why there's such a current in these things. After the photo was shared widely on social media, the Federal Electricity Commission took it down, citing it was unsafe. Duh. Mexico, Mexico. All right, that does it for this edition of the Gringo Show. Thanks so much for joining us. Do not forget to tune in next week for our Season 2 finale. It's going to be a great show. I know you're going to miss us over the holiday break. You can already feel it. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube or Facebook. Until then, have a great week.
Gringo, Mexico is laughing thanks to you.